Hey. Okay, good morning. We let people in. It is our day 4, and lots going to happen today. And of course, we're going to start it off with some Qigong practice with John. So lots to be here nice and early for. So thank you all for showing up, being here on time. We really appreciate that. Okay, and of course it's great for you. You won't miss out on any of the practice. So okay, and every time, even though some things are repeated like over and over and over, there's always new gems that you'll get from John. And and also sometimes because you're busy practicing and you're thinking about things, some things will go past and and then you'll hear them like it was, oh, I've never heard that before. So it's always really great to be here for the practice sessions. Okay, so John, over to you.
All right. Well, let's continue on with building our Qigong workout. We're going to add another exercise today, so we're getting closer to the full completion. We'll have the last two exercises. There'll be two more that we'll have to finish the whole thing. That will be in part B, but you're going to have a really nice workout to do over the break with the information we'll have up to today. All right, let's stand up. And of course, we want to find our Wuji posture. So let's find that foundation. Let's create the space between our feet, which is about shoulder width apart. Remembering that's by the big toe, not the little toe. Feeling that sense of connecting with the floor, which is our connection with the earth. So all areas of the feet are touching. You can really feel supported. And then slowly begin to scan up through your body. And we'll stop at the knees and make sure your knees are flexible. They're bent a little bit. And then also we want to have them slightly out so that they're over the big toes. The visual is like you're riding a little pony. We all have our little ponies here. And then moving up to the pelvis. And the pelvis, we want to drop a grounding cord from your tailbone. They give the visuals like 1,000-pound weight going boom down into the earth. Help really root you, which creates this posture like you're kind of sitting on a high stool, kind of leaning against it more than sitting. Get a firmness, or invite a firmness to the perineum, close the anal sphincter, create that container in the pelvis, in the lower danchen that you can fill with qi. And it's really important when we close these areas, get that firmness in the perineum and close the anal sphincter, that we don't clamp down. We don't want to block full breathing. So it's more of an awareness that we want to make sure that the chi is staying here and it's not leaking out. So there's our foundation. And now let's imagine the divine pulling you up with that equal and opposite force from that weight pulling you down. That's going to elongate the spine. I'm going to invite you to relax the stomach and soften the chest. Let those shoulders drop. In fact, let's just lift them up for a moment and then let them go. Inhale, lift them up. Yeah, just let them drop. One more time. Good. Just get a sense of where they want to be so they're not like, oh no, I got to be up here. We want them to be relaxed. And then let the elbows be heavy. Hands are open. Little space in the armpits. They call that hollowing out the armpits. We just want to make sure that we have a little space there so the lymph can flow easily. Good, and do a slight tuck of the chin. That's going to help to elongate the back part of the neck here, the upper spine. Let your eyes be soft, half open, half closed. Let the tongue move to the upper palate, right behind the upper front teeth. Close the mouth and begin to breathe in and out through the nose as the ears begin to close and that awareness starts to go more inward. And breathe. Good. Long, slow, deep breaths. Allowing yourself to arrive in this moment, in this place you've chosen to honor yourself in your chi with this practice. And then bring your focus to your palms and let's breathe in and gather energy from the earth. Turn them forward and grab nature. Turn them up and grab some from the sky. And let's wash it down over the front of the body. And as we do, any tension that's there, we can invite it to just wash down into the earth. And again, gathering more energy from earth, from nature, from the sky above, and a little wash down the back of the body. Let your awareness go there. Just kind of washing away any tension as you send these beautiful energies down the body. And then one more time, earth, nature, and sky. Opening the crown, and let's say hello to the inside of the body. All this loving energy from earth, nature, and sky coming through the body and pushing down any tension, any stress out through the feet and down into the earth. Good. And then once again, bring your hands to your heart. Let's set an intention. It might be the same one every day. Maybe you're really on a path here. That's okay. But just notice what intention would best support you today. Maybe you just want to tweak the one you had yesterday. Maybe it's something completely different. What would honor your highest good? What would help you on any healing journey you might be on? What would help you with your learning and growth? And breathe and smile. And as you fill that into your heart, send that beautiful energy into your heart. It's flowing through your blood and it's filling your whole body. And it's also going out into the fields of Qi around you, which you'll learn more about today, called Wei Qi. And just smile. Starting your internal love engine, loving yourself, letting go of any judgment. One more breath. Good. And then let your hands drop and let's begin to clear out any tension of the body, starting with our channel dredging. So let's go down to our big toe. Rub along the inner arch, inner ankle, inner calf, inner knee, inner thigh, and then front of the torso to the collarbone. Thumbs once again into the underarms, underside of the arms to the palms, and release it. Good. And backs of the hands, elbows and shoulders, neck, side of the head, back of the head and neck. Bring it around to the side and back of the torso, of the pelvis, of the legs, and the feet. Inhale, let's flow up. Underside of the arms, exhale to release. Good. Inhale, backs of the hands, shoulders, neck, side of the head and back of the head. You can start to begin the exhale here if you like, and then finish it. Inhale up. Underside of the arms and palms. And just kind of start the process of following your hands. Let your awareness follow your hands as you move through. All could be very new for you right now, this idea of channels and energy flows. But just follow your hands as a way to start that process to see what you notice. Be curious. As we start this process of really bringing more awareness with the practice. Inhale. Underside of the arms, exhale. And then we'll get these backs of the arms, side of the head, top of the head, back of the head, back of the neck, side and back of the torso, all the way down to your little toe. And one more time. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, get those, what we call more yang channels, side and back of the body where they're located. And then roll up the spine. Find your way back up to standing. And let's inhale and begin to do counter swing. Let's begin to toss away any tension that might have built up in the organs, in the muscles. Actually anywhere in the body, in your brain. Clearing out the brain, toss that away. Oh, we don't need that anymore, toss that away. Inhale to center, exhale to side. So as you toss, we start to shift the weight slightly to follow the front arm. So as I'm tossing with my right arm, right here, I will slowly shift to the left. And as I do the same with the left arm, I slowly shift to the right. And it's really important. One thing I want to add now that we've done this a few times is we're not doing this up, down, up, down. We want to stay level. It's a shifting over. It's not a oopa loopa. We're not going up and down. So just keeping your head at the same level, this idea of just focusing on the letting go and not so much up and down movement. Good. Inhale, center, exhale to side, tossing in the front and the back. One hand going one way, one hand going the other. And one more. Let's do one more to each side. One more to your left, one more to your right, and back to the center. Feet now come closer together as we move into dropping post. Let's let go. Remembering that if it's too much at first, you can leave the heels on the ground and bounce with your knees. Otherwise, a little lift and drop of the heels is a great way to create that resonance all the way up to the crown, helping you release tension deep in the body, and at the same time, making the bones stronger. And if you're interested, this is also the Chinese exercise for weight loss. So, like the old rebounders from the 70s. Good. How much can you relax into this, even though it's quite active with your feet? Good. One more breath. And pause. Take a breath in and rise up. Get nice and tall on your toes like a rocket shooting into the air. And then inhale, rise up. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And let's do another round. So we're bouncing here to kind of get energy flowing through this resonance, through this vibration. And then this reason we do the other part, standing the stacking the bones, is because anything that's got loose, we want to, it's almost like your hand is kind of flopping here. And then what you do is, I'll put it in front where you can see a little bit more. Then you want to straighten it out so that all the joints get really strong and release anything that might still be in there. And then you shake it away. So it's really working with helping to open up the joints as well. All right. So just relax into it. And then one more breath. Good. Pause. And now let's get nice and tall. Tightening all the joints and then shake it out. So anything stuck in the joints gets released. And again, inhale. And release. Wonderful. One more time. Inhale. Good. All right. Let's do one more shorter version. Where are you still holding on? Really start to do a little check-in. Are you holding in your jaw? Is it tight still? Is the back of your head still tight? Are the shoulders tight? What about the arms, the hands, wrists? What about your lower back? What about your legs, even though they're quite active here? And one more breath. And pause. Stack up. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. And one more time. Great. Let's step back out now. Back to our Wuji. Feet shoulder width apart. And begin to shake those hands and wrists. Elbows and shoulders. Exhale. All the way down your body. Good. Breathing in, going up the joints of the arms to the shoulders. Exhale from your head to your feet. There you go. Inhale up. And get your little Elvis legs going. Inhale. All right. Few more at your own pace. Just kind of, where are you holding on in your nervous system? The fascia, the skin. Where can we shake it off? Let's do one more. Of course, bonus karmic points if you can make a horse sound, which I can't. All right. So let's come back into our Wuji and just be there for a moment and feel the buzzing. I feel like if I was actually physically shaking, that's what it feels like in my body. And a little bit, it actually is kind of, if I really relax, my right arm wants to kind of go a little bit. So that shows you the chi is moving, the energy is flowing. So let's do another pulling down the heavens. Breathe in, gather, earth, nature, and sky. And we're still working with the idea of clearing. So let's wash it down the front as we exhale and send it all the way down into the earth. And inhale, gather earth, nature, and sky. And let's focus on the back. What's still hanging out there that we can wash away down into the earth? And one more. What's inside that we can wash down as we nurture it with this beautiful energies from all around us? Send that tension down into the earth. All right. Hands down by your sides. Bring your tongue to the upper palate. We're going to really focus on breathing only with the nose for the rest of the workout as best you can. And we're going to do our 5 yang we did yesterday. So let's breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Get this idea like you're doing this in water. We've gone to a water aerobics class now, everybody. Here we go. We're inhaling, exhale. So the idea is you really want to get a sense like you're really pulling in some chi and then activating it. Inhale, exhale. And that lower orbit that we're filling up right there at the waist, the lower down Shen, is we really want to get that chi moving there. So we can even play with that again with this simple movement. So let's inhale and now let's exhale up the back, down the front. Like you're circling this ball that we've just put of energy we just put there. Let's do it again. Inhale, exhale. So that's just kind of a modified version to get this sense of this movement going up the back, down the front. A little microcosmic orbit. You're familiar with how we go all the way up to the head and down the midline of the front. This is just happening, the same thing, but it's happening only down here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Feel free to do that longer if you like, but otherwise feel free to go back to the regular exercise. That's just a modified to kind of get the energy idea. Inhale, exhale. And once again, don't have to be visual. Just work with the intention. I'm filling up with chi and then I'm activating it. And see what you notice. What sensations do you get? You get a sense of filling up when you're breathing in, bringing that energy down. Do you get a sense of it spinning when the hands come down? And smile, of course, helps to support that. One more. And then just pause here and breathe. And see if you can do that in your mind. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. All just stair steps to finally getting that. So it takes a while to get there for some of us. So just, I knew it did for me. So I'm just inviting you to be patient with that and start to see what you can notice. Be clear, or what you can sense. Okay, now we're going to teach you a new exercise. This is called the 5-yin opening. So this is the one that we put in front of all those individual organ exercises. And this is to open up the spine. So, because we want to have good spinal flow, because we need that for all the exercises. So with your hands down by your sides, let's breathe in and make an outline of the earth. And then let your fingers go heavy. Let your wrists go heavy. Let your chin drop towards your chest and begin to, like a slow motion dive into a pool. Let each individual vertebra just kind of move its way down, all the way down as you bend forward, going to wherever you can. And then once you get to the bottom, grab a little energy with your hands, bend the knees, begin to bring the pelvis forward, and then begin to stack the vertebra on top of that pelvic area so that we reverse the movement coming up and allow the arms just to open up again, like a beautiful lotus flower. Drop the fingers, collapse the wrists, collapse the head, collapse the chest, rolling down one vertebra at a time, releasing tension. And then at the bottom, you squat down a little bit and then bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, start to roll back up, stacking the vertebra, allowing the head to come up last. Hands just flow with you. Exhale, dropping down like a slow motion dive. Here we go. And just notice where your spine is going. Is it stuck? Is it coming down in sections as opposed to individual vertebra? Inhale as we come up. Make sure you have a nice, strong stance beneath you before you stack the vertebra. Exhale. Releasing. Allowing gravity to help you just roll down towards the floor. Bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, and slowly begin to restack everything. Let's try that one more time. Exhale, flowing down. Releasing. Gathering a little chi, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, and then begin to restack the vertebra. Coming up, let the hands come above the head. Drop them down in front, and now we're in right position for doing the lung exercise. Inhale. Palms up. Exhale. Remembering we don't touch the hands. Lift them though. Flip them over. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So as we inhale, they're up about shoulder level. Exhale, let them drop down around chest level. So we're working with different aspects of the lungs, different areas. Inhale up and open. Exhale slightly down and close. And one more time. And then bring your hands close to you and then drop them down. Take your right heel out a little further so you have a wider stance. We're in our position for the kidneys. So bring your left hand behind you, right hand up to the eyes, forehead area. Take a breath in and pretend you're a giant water wheel. Let's go down and gather some water like we're standing in a beautiful lake. Inhale, rolling up the spine. Exhale, roll down here on the right side, and inhale, roll up on the left. So you're shifting your weight as you gather this water, rolling up more here on the left, and then shifting back to the right and going down. Making a circular motion. A little shift of the weight to pump the feet. There's a beautiful acupuncture point there that is the beginning of the kidney channel. So you're activating that one. It's called bubbling spring. Gathering more chi even up through the legs as we do it with the arms. And get a sense of filling up that right kidney. Down, scoop up the water and inhale it. Flow all the way down that right arm, across the backs of the shoulders, down the left arm to the right kidney. And let's finish up here. And then slowly transition. Let's get ready to help the left kidney. Back of the hand touches the lower back. Take a breath in. Exhale. Same idea, just in reverse. So we roll down this time, the left side, come across, roll up the right side. And once you kind of get it, begin to watch your hand throughout the movement. Follow the movement of the hand as you scoop at the bottom and receive that chi at the top. Taking that energy in and let it flow all the way down your left arm, across the backs of the shoulders, down the right arm, to that right hand that's touching your left kidney. One more time. Good. And then bring your right hand out. Slide your right foot in. Back to Wuji. Left hand is at your hip. We're now in position for the liver. So let's take a sip in. And then push with the right hand. Another sip. Push with the left. Another sip. Exhale. 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 Inhale, sip. Inhale, sip. Inhale, sip. Exhale. 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 Breathing in. Breathing out. And get this sense of moving from your elbow, like you're passing energy from your elbow to the hand and then sending it out beyond the body. Almost like passing a baton from one hand to the other. We'll talk more about the legs in part B. For now, just kind of get that breath and movement. And smile, of course. You're helping your liver, helping to move the energy through it. That's a big filter. We want to help that filter work better. And finish the one you're on. Then bring your left hand to below your heart, right hand above. Let's have a moment and imagine there's a ball of light here. We'll work with the intention. There's a ball of light, and you can make it red or pink or anything on that spectrum. Good. Pink more gentle, red more vibrant. And let's take a breath in. And let's exhale as we move to the left, creating our safe space for the heart. And then inhale back. Exhale over to the right. I'll do the side view again. Inhale. One hand at forehead, one hand at heart. Inhale, switch. Inhale at the center. Switch as you turn to the other side. Switch the hands, I mean. So the hands hold the ball, and then you switch them to create the T. Hold another ball, switch them to create the T. T being like this upper stroke at the head, and the lower stroke here at the heart. And smile to your heart. Good. One more over here on the left. One more on the right. And come back to the center and let your hands drop down. All right, let's say hello to the spleen. Inhale, make an outline of the earth. Exhale, bring the energy down through your center. Bring your hands behind you. Flick your fingers to release any charge, and then touch thumbs and index fingers. Inhale, bring your hands to the appropriate position for you, either in front or all the way above the head. Exhale, turning to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. This one I will talk about the legs today. So once again, we're going to come up a little bit here without straightening the legs. Exhale, a little drop and twist, not a big twist. So you inhale at the center, exhale at the side, a little shift of weight and dropping down like you're going over. You can visualize this like you're going over a little hill. You come up the hill and you drop down the hill. Inhale, exhale. As you look through the third eye and the diamond you've created here with your physical eyes and your third eye. Keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. So this one we do want to go Oompa Loompa up and down. Inhale up, exhale down. Just a slight movement. And one more here to the left. One more to the right. Come back to the center and let the hands drop down and rest them here at the navel. Take a few nice deep breaths. Allow the energy from our 5 yang that we did, all the yang organs for the lungs, for the kidneys, for the liver, the heart, and the spleen we just finished. Let all these energies that are not needed in those organs coalesce here into a ball in the lower Danshan, our storage area, our reservoir. And imagine that ball compressing, getting smaller and smaller and smaller, all the way down the size of a pearl. Vibrant pearl of light, full of your life force. And imagine that pearl dropping down to your pelvic floor. Release the hands, and now let's guide it up through all the individual vertebrae. So now we're making the bigger orbit. We were looking with a smaller one earlier, and now we'll go all the way up to the crown of the head and then right down the center line of the front. Inhale. In the nose. Exhale out of the nose. Inhale, fingers point towards the body. Exhale, they point away and extend out away from the body. So inhale, up the spine. Exhale, away and down the spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Balancing out the energy flows. Let's do 2 more. Bring that pearl down the front. Bring your hands back to the navel. Let it store back here. Bring your feet closer together. Take a few deep breaths. Letting it settle in the Danshan. And let's lock that in with 9 rotations here in one direction. You decide which one works best for you. And then do 9 more in the opposite. Working with the yin and the yang. Another example of yin and yang. And then rub the hands. Cup them over your glasses or over your eyes. Soak that in. Through the eyes, optic nerves, through the brain, all the way down the spine to the Danshan. And again, inhale. Exhale down. Little wash of the face, up the center, down over the ears. And begin to tap the forehead, crown, side of the head, back of the head, back of the neck. There's more vitality into the body by making it go deeper, and then tap the shoulder to the palm. Stimulating lymph flow as well. Come across, say hello to the other shoulder, other palm. Back of the hand, all the way up to the shoulder. Say hello to the heart and lungs. Sides of the body. Underarms and sides of the body. The tapping here at the digestive organs. Let's stimulate those by going up the right side and down the left. Up the right, down the left. Be sure you're doing it correct on your body. And then tap beneath the navel. See a chi, and then come around the waist and say hello to the kidneys and lower back. Feel free to step back out to Wuji and tap the buttocks and down the outer legs. Around the feet and toes. Tap right here at the pelvis, leg gates, the quad points, and stimulate Sea of Qi one more time. And back in Wuji, let's just come back down and just kind of feel that. as you breathe, get a sense of how amazing it is to be connected with all this energy. Feel a sense of connection with the earth. Feel a sense of that divine raining down all around you, a little bit easier. The nature all around you, supporting you. That you are a part of all of this. We're not separate. Good. And let's take these beautiful flows within us and all around us and have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I could feel you guys' energy. That was a strong round.
Ah, hey, awesome. Comments, feedback for John. Your experience.
Yeah.
How
What
are
are
we
you
doing with
noticing?
this?
Are you
Enjoying
starting to
it.
notice more? I'd be curious to notice, are you noticing more? Getting a sense of where you might need more support or where things are flowing. Oh, good. I noticed that. I never noticed that before. Yeah.
Yeah, any challenges?
Yeah.
It feels like a nice buzz, like especially in the lower extremity. That it feels wonderful. Love it. Especially tapping down, guys, and coming back up. Oh, this time it seems well. This time it seems so much stronger than before. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It really and you know my eyes. It's almost like you feel like everything's brighter. If I can say, I don't know if anyone notices that. It's just very bright. So
Yes.
there.
Yeah. I
It's
was
very.
seeing lots of light today too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very
Great.
nice. Susan.
I love the intense focus. I love the repetition so that we come back to the same thing every day, but we go into it a little deeper. And today, what really stood out for me was the Wuji posture, standing in Wuji posture at
Great.
at hearing everything you said yesterday, but hearing it sort of in a new way today because I don't know, focus on different things. Yeah, I'm feeling more and hearing less or something over
Oh,
today.
great.
Yes, great. Bria says she's definitely dropping into deeper sensation, meditation, and visualization. So great, great feedback. Anyone find any of
Naomi, I can see you raising your hand there. Yep.
Yes, there
Oh,
we go.
there it goes.
My digital hand. Um, I've found Wuji posture really tiring. I found it really tiring when I was doing it with Minka, and I found it really tiring when I've been doing it with you. Um, I don't quite know what that is. I just want to like fall down and lie down when I do Wuji posture for some reason. But today it felt a little bit less tiring to stand.
Yes. So the movement part of all of this that you're doing, and so there's standing posture, and then the stillness, the standing, and then there's the active. And the active that we're doing helps to bring you more into alignment. And so the being tired is just there's something out in the alignment. There's something that's not allowing the flows that
Mhm.
need to be there to go through there. And so especially in the first level here or the practitioner here, we really have a big focus on all the movement part because that's going to help bring that alignment that you need for the spine for the Wuji posture to become easier.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's
Thank you.
great. If you're noticing a shift already, that's perfect.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
celebrate the little parts. Yeah, a little bit better today. That's great.
Susan says she wants to fall down and lie down when she does dropping post. So
Yeah.
dropping post can be intense. If you're really having a struggle with it, just do one round and then go up to 2 rounds. You know, you don't have to do all 3 to begin with.
Right.
So you can start it a little more slowly if you really need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bria actually above that even said, definitely dropping into deeper sensation, meditation, and visualization. Wonderful. Good for you.
And Stacey, who we're going to introduce the group, and after we're done the Q&A,
Right.
says, I'm also realizing how tight my back is. The one exercise with rolling up the spine was amazing, and I will be doing more of that on regular. That one can be really great. I know people who get out of bed and do that one. Like, I'm going to wake up my spine now. It's time to get up and just do some of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Bria has a question.
Hi. Yeah, for the one when we're doing the purging exercises and we're swinging side to side with our arms one front.
Yes. Counter swing. Yep.
I was wondering with that one, is it associated with a specific organ or is it kind of like a general purging?
You can think of that as clearing all the organs.
Okay.
Yeah, smart.
All the organs. In fact, as we go further into it, I'll bring that into play. I didn't do it yet because we're still learning the kind of the choreography and getting the basics down. But as we go further, I'll start to say, let's check in with the lungs. What do we need to toss out here? What about the kidneys? What about the liver?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. Great question.
Well, here's a good question Barbara has. On the left-right movement, and that would be counter swing, not sure what goes up and what goes down, the T shape.
Oh, you're talking about the heart, I think. You're talking about the heart. Yeah, I see.
Oh, the heart
Yes. So
shape. Oh, this one, yes.
let's do that slower, this part. So let's start here, left hand down here, right hand here. So I'll give you a side view. So the lower, whatever side I'm going to, if I go to my left side, I'm doing your mirror image. That's going to come up to my head, and then I'm going to push through. So make sure that upper arm, so you're not doing stuff like this. The upper arm needs to be here at the head, and the other arm needs to be at the heart. And then as you come down, nothing changes yet. We're just coming down and reforming our ball. The transition happens when you go to the opposite side. And now you're going to bring that right hand up to your forehead and push through with the left. So the transition happens when you turn to the other side. So now I'm going to create the ball here in the center. And now I'm going to my left, so I need to change my hands and push. Create the ball, change the hands, and push. Yeah. So the idea is remembering that it gets, after a while it's in your body, but at first it takes a while to kind of get that what.
Yeah. So your hand, your top hand always stays your top hand, your bottom hand always stays your bottom hand, and it's your bottom hand that goes up.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
when you transition to the other side, then your bottom hand comes up, and then you come back, and then you transition over there.
There's another exercise from a different form of Qigong, which is called Rock the Baby Dragon. And in that one, you're just going up and up. It's a little less complicated, but you can kind of get more of a sense of the movement, how the hand, and all we're doing is like adding that, shifting the lower hand.
Right.
This is nice. It's like you come back and just rock the dragon.
I do that all my senior centers.
Right.
That version.
So you can just kind of get the sense that that upper hand swings up. The upper hand swings up. Okay. This says if you get confused, go back to that. Okay, rocking a baby. What happens here? Oh yeah, that hand comes up. Yeah.
And remembering, this is only day 4.
Yes.
We're going to be doing this on day 20.
Oh yeah, everybody was a little confused, especially on that heart one. It's like,
yeah,
takes a minute to get that one for sure.
Yeah, that one takes a while.
Yeah.
I didn't get it right away either. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was frozen.
You froze for a brief moment. Yeah.
Okay. Internet connection is unstable. Great. I just have to unplug it and plug it back in every day or something.
Yeah.
Glad I have the super fast cable.
I know I have the super fast cable and I never had internet connection problems until they gave me that cable.
Jeez, really?
Supposed to be better.
I know. Pay extra. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, well, this is great. We wanted to also address how to, tell us things. So if you're not going to be here, we do appreciate knowing that. And you can just shoot us an email. We're going to have the WhatsApp group getting set up, for which we will need your phone numbers. I think most of them were sent to us. And but that'll be really handy. It's also another way to let us know if you're late, you can't make it, something like that. Because there's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, we like to know if everybody's here yet. But also for setting up partnerships for certain exercises that we do, we need to know. So it's an email or on the WhatsApp will be good for letting us know that. If you're going to leave early, kind of the same thing. And you can also let us know in the chat, like you can do like a private chat to John or to me. And also you can put that in the WhatsApp. You can send us an email, all those things, because it's also still important for us to know if you need to leave early. So, and it doesn't have to be a private message. I mean, it's not like it's a problem that everybody knows you have to leave early. So, but if you want it to be, there's private chat on there. So just those kind of basic things are, sometimes, a little challenging to know what to do, but that's what we'd like. Let us know. And then, it's so great that John gets those videos out every day, because there's that opportunity to catch up on whatever that is. And people who miss out on treatments, do get to have the opportunity to go onto the WhatsApp and see who'd like to do an exchange. And so that can work out great for people too. It's fun. And you can do the exchanges and, listen to or have the recording going. So sometimes it's a computer and a phone, and, you can go into the recording on the phone and then work with a partner on Zoom or something like that. Okay, so let's introduce Stacey, or Stacey will have you introduce yourself.
Okay, sorry, just gotta turn on my camera. Bear with me. All right.
Oh, and the sessions we will start with our first session next, part B. It'll be a small session, but it'll be our first taste of session.
Yeah.
We still have more steps before we can get there.
Yeah. Welcome.
Stacey, yes, hi.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I try to watch all of the sessions that you posted, John, so thank you for that.
Great.
I did miss yesterday's session, so just wanted to let you know that I'll try and watch it sometime this weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, my name is Stacey. I live in Vancouver. I came across, I'm trying to think of how I actually came across this training, but I think it might have been because I attended or I had a session with a medical Qigong session with someone locally. And the first session I had with this person, I can't explain it. It was just, I almost thought she was using some type of technique on me, like with an actual instrument, because I could feel the vibration, I could feel the energy. It was extremely powerful. And I've, had Reiki sessions before. I've had, many types of other sessions like that, and nothing was really quite like this. So it wasn't me doing exercises. She was actually just doing a treatment on me. And yeah, that just blew my mind. So I am interested in all types of energy work. I have done my own Reiki training, and I'm really interested in all things that kind of are in alignment with this, like crystals and colors. And I do see the link between, you know, mental health as well as part of, we have to look at the big picture in a holistic sense where we're combining body, mind, and spirit. And even from, kind of an aside note, whenever I go and, if I hurt myself from training due to an athletic thing or whatever, oftentimes I'll get an appointment with physio and she'll do some stuff or whatever, or like a chiropractor or a massage, but there's nothing for me to follow up on my own. And so I really like the ability to like have a prescription, not only for like just joint health and everything, but to support my organs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really I'm excited to be here and I look forward to learning and exercising and incorporating movement into medicine. So yeah, thanks.
Nice. Thank you.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah.
It's finally nice to all the emails. It's really nice to put a face to the name. Lovely to see you.
Yeah. Thank you for
Welcome.
all of your back and forth. Thanks.
Yeah, great. I'm glad we got it all work out.
Welcome
Yes.
back. I remember you from, of course, channeling.
Channeling, yes, and that was
Yeah.
also, I just love all this stuff, and I think again, the holistic piece where everything is incorporated is so key.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for that too.
Spirit, which is our subject of what we're doing next. So thank you.
Yeah, good segue.
Okay, I think that's all we need to do before getting into lecture. Okay.
Here's
3 bodies and 3 worlds. Yeah. Our 3 bodies and our 3 worlds that all coincide. The 3 worlds. Shamanic Chinese medicine is based on understanding that there are 3 levels of reality that we are constantly interacting with. The physical world, the energetic world, and the spiritual world. And so when we approach things, we're also in our healing sessions, we're conscious of this. We're conscious of how we're working. It's one of the sort of the hallmarks of the work that we do. The body's 3-way chi fields. So 3 layers of the body's auric and energy fields are called our 3-way chi fields, which is like we have nei and wei, and nei is inner and wei is outer. So these are our outer chi fields. They surround and protect the tissues and communicates with the environment. Now, the wei chi that you would talk about in TCM is usually the energy that is the channel flows that are more superficial in the body. So we have these, not the deep flows, but those are more called Wei Qi. But when we approach this, we look at the Wei Qi and we work with these energy fields, the auric fields that are out around the body. They surround and protect us. They communicate with the environment. And a really interesting part of that is that if someone's Wei Qi fields are broken, that it's something that a person can experience, that you'll feel it with a person. And it'll actually kind of feel like that person is in your energy field. So that person can feel very intense to you, like, oh, okay. And that'll be because they don't have that wonderful cushion around them, that when you meet someone and you feel really comfortable with them, that's because they have a nice Wei Qi field. You know, their Wei Qi field is solid, it's not broken, and it just, feels good, it feels safe, kind of instantly to be with that person. And that'll be how the Wei Qi field sits there, these fields that are around you, and they communicate with the environment and with people who you come into contact with. So our Wei Qi fields are very important. And as I said yesterday, people talk about protection and putting up walls. No, Wei Qi fields, a nice, not solid, a nice living, rich and powerful Wei Qi field is like your best protection, you could say. And so that's what we look at. People say, well, what is the protection? It's you build your Wei Qi fields. That is it. So the Dantians and the Wei Qi fields. So the lower Dantian, down the lower abdomen, is your the lower Dantian of the body. These are the energy centers of the body that sit within what we call the Taiji pole, which we're connecting with. So we have these three centers, and the lower part of the body relates to the physical world and your physical and the physical field. The second is around the area of the heart. It's mental, emotional, at least lower thoughts, not higher thoughts, but mental, emotional, especially mental emotional entanglement, loves to be in that middle level. So Wei Qi field and middle Dantian, it's that second field, also our energetic body. And then the third Wei Qi field, our upper Dantian, and our spiritual field, which goes out a long ways around the body, depending on whether you've just had a wonderful meditation. And the fields shift during the day as you go through different experiences. So if you've had a wonderful meditation, your spiritual field is going to be bigger. If you've just been driving and you're upset about the traffic, your spiritual field is going to be a little smaller. And we play with this. This is seminar 5, and like how the Wei Qi fields shift around us depending on what we're feeling. And that's also a part of how they communicate with those around you. So if someone is in a room and they're really upset, it shifts the energy in the whole room because the Wei Qi fields are interacting with each other. So these fields protect us from pathogens. Our internal pathogens are very much to do with the emotions. The external pathogens are considered to be extreme cold, heat, damp, dry, wind, and fire. So when you're out in a really cold environment, and we had a couple of Arctic people in last year's, someone who's currently in the Arctic. We've had some Arctic. Sure, we have more. We have Africa last year. We had Arctic in the class, so that's always interesting. Wonderful, different spaces. So, but that extreme cold, you can't be out in the extreme cold. It will kill you. You will freeze to death. So extreme cold, extreme too much heat and too much dampness, like that's coastal, a dryness of the desert, wind, that can be pretty coastal or desert, and fire. So too much heat. We also have our fires, which are which really affect us as well. So those are external pathogens. And our internal pathogens are our emotions. So they are pathogenic. Pathogenic. So anger can be pathogenic. Grief can be pathogenic. Fear can shock, all these things. And these can create holes in the external Wei Qi fields and leave the body vulnerable to invasion and disease. So this is one of the reasons that we do our Qigong practices, because we are wanting to create these beautiful, strong Wei Qi fields. Now, if someone has had, traumas can really create these holes. There was a pretty famous study that they did in a prison. They showed pictures to men who had sexually abused women, and they asked them just look at the pictures, who would they prey on? And they preyed on the women. They could just look at the picture and they could feel the women who had been sexually abused in the past. And they were the ones who they would choose to prey on. So it's something that we can all feel. So they could feel that those people had broken, did not have that Wei Qi field defense, that that they were vulnerable. And so in a very true way, building up our Wei Qi fields is extremely important to our health. And people talk about protection. Yes, strong for your protection. Okay, so the 3 treasures, 3 worlds, and 3 bodies. Taoist alchemies and the 3 powers, also called the Sankai. And there's a picture, and he's holding the 3 powers there. So natural forces of the 3 powers, the 3 outer forces and their 9 treasures. So there's the 3 outer forces and the 3 treasures of each. And these provide the basis for Taoist internal alchemy. So why do we want to study Taoist internal alchemy? Taoist internal alchemy is a way to build up and change your foundational energy. There are people say, well, you come in with a certain constitution, you come in with a certain amount of original Jing, original Qi, and that's kind of it, it's like, well, that's all you got, folks. And when that runs out, you're done. So this was developed Taoist internal alchemy was developed in order to build up what is called the prenatal or original Jing and Qi. And so this is why we, especially doing Qigong and practicing Qigong medicine, are put this focus on doing the practices. And that includes all of our Qigong practices, our breathing practices, and then that really goes into our internal meditation. So you have Wei Gong, which is external work, but then we have Nei Gong, which is our internal training. So now we're starting to talk about the Taoist internal alchemy. And that's what that is about. That is about finding ways to build up your own vital energy, your constitutional energy, and change your whole foundation of the energy within your body. Okay, so the 3 powers and the 3 treasures of each. So the 3 treasures of heaven. Treasure of the moon, which we love how it shines brightly, but thank goodness we also have it cycle through and we get dark nights and moonlit nights. We wouldn't want them all to be moonlit. We don't want all full moons, thank you. We also like new moons. We love the sun and the sun and how it moves, different parts of the sky depending on the seasons and the power of that, and how we have a daytime and a nighttime. So then we get the stars, we get the moon and the stars. So these are the treasures of heaven. They're the great treasures. And that with the stars would include the planets. And then we talked about the planets and the power that each of those planets represents one of the elements. And so that comes in. And there are also elements that are associated with each of the celestial constellations and the parts of the sky. The stars of the southern sky are to do with the heart and the fire element, the northern sky to do with the water element and the kidneys, and then the stars of the central sky are to do with the earth and the spleen and pancreas. The stars of the western sky are to do with the metal element and lungs, and then the eastern sky, the wood element and the liver. So there's all of this. There's a lot of how we interact with this. And of course, the cycle of the sun creates the seasons and cycles of the moon. So all of this really connects and has ways that we relate to it and work differently through these different times. And then we have our correspondences, and this is the whole aspect here of the horoscopes, the astrology, and understanding yourself in deeper ways through the Chinese astrological readings And there's great books on that. And oh my goodness, it is so true. So I am the water dragon, and you can see that it moves. So we show the metal tiger, which is 1950 and 2010, and it comes every 60 years, one of these revolutions. And so I'm 1952. So for me, the return of the dragon year was like had the biggest sort of calamity, you could say, in my life. That was, when that returns, it can be very challenging. John managed to slide through his.
Well, no, I'm in mine right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm a wood snake. I'm at 60 this year, so
That's right. So it's like just you
so
have to,
this year is my 60th. So far, so yeah, let's keep the fingers crossed. It's going good.
I know, it's so true. And so yeah, so you can see your year, count to your year, and then you can see what animal you are and what your element is. And so you have an element that goes with each of these. And I think, John, maybe correct me, but I think that's all. I mean, it's also every other year, a yin year, yang year, yin goes yin yang, yin yang, yin yang, yin yang.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember if I'm the yin or the yang with the water dragon. Do you remember what you are?
Yin.
Okay.
The yin wood, green, and green. There's a color associated too. So green
Yes.
wood,
Snake.
snake.
And so did you say that you're yin?
Yin, the yin
Okay.
green wood
So
snake.
I guess I'm the yang water dragon. Okay. So it's great. We talk much more about this in seminar 9. We go into this in the books and the very fascinating study. So we just want to bring that in. Everybody can see what they are if you don't know already. Okay. 3 treasures of earth. So soil, wind, and water. And so the soil is all of the earth. It's the soil that we plant things in, but it's also the rocks. It's the earth itself. So our soil is the earth in all of that solid form. And then we have the water in all of its forms, whether it's salt water, fresh water, frozen water, and glaciers. So all of the water, but not quite all the water, because wind also contains water, and it's very related to the water. And the wind is all of the atmosphere. So wind includes the storms and the rain. Include the hurricanes. It includes the heat waves. So whatever comes in, the thunder, lightning, all of that is a part of the wind element. So this constitutes the treasures of the earth. And you could also put in the treasures of the earth would be the soil and what grows out of the soil, which is all the trees and the plants. And so the life is a part of the treasures of the earth. And then we come to the treasures of man, which are Jing, Qi, and Shen. And the Jing, the upper one you can see is essence. And you can see that there's the same symbol in Qi and Jing, but it's still part of it. Like the characters are put together. And so, that sort of symbolizes like an exploding exploding rice seed that is just being born. And so the Jing is about this essence of life force. And so it is the essence of life force, and yet it is at the physical, it's very close in to physical matter. It's like the life force that's like within each cell that makes things alive. And so the treasures of man also, in many ways, also kind of move towards Animals have Jing, Qi, and Shen. Plants, I would also say, have Jing, Qi, and Shen. And so there's the treasures of man, but I would also could include nature in a different way than the treasures of the earth. Anyway, so there's your Jing. It is the essence of life, and it is what makes the cells, is the closest thing to making the actual cell physical world. You have to have that Jing. Jing is that building block of the physical reality. And it works with, our carbon-based and whatever that is. And then Qi. And Qi is really the life force. It is the vitality, and it is what moves now around through the body and communicates. So our Qi is a great communicator between the spirit and matter. So we need the Qi for these two to be able to talk to each other. And so when you're doing your practices, you're moving the Qi in the body. And when that Qi moves, then that stirs the Jing, so that the Jing is able to heal things. And so we need things at the more physical level in order to transform and to heal. But we can't do that without the Qi. And then the Shen, well, the Shen will be more the blueprint from spirit of the body. It's held out in a different space, but with the blueprint, and say you have Jing, you have you have your prenatal or your postnatal Qi is there, but you don't have the blueprint, you don't have that message to move it, then healing can't happen. And so the Shen is always holding the blueprint, and the body, the Jing, is ready to receive it, but we have to have the Qi, that life force there that creates healing. And so that's why we have such a strong focus on Qigong. So that's why the Qigong is so important. It moves that Qi. Like acupuncture needles, for example, move that Qi. It brings Qi into the body, and it sends the messages along the meridians. But this is how you do it for yourself. It's do-it-yourself acupuncture. So we can look at the three treasures this way. I like this. So if we start at the bottom, the Jing, the essence, foundational from birth. So our Jing essence that starts us off. And, then there's the candle. So some people, those really big candles. Some people, like, you could think of them, well, that person really has the big candle. They're out there partying and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And then, there's the person who has came in with the birthday candles, oh, that's sad. That's not lasting very long. And so hopefully, you don't have a birthday candle, but depending on the size of that candle has a lot to do with that's your constitution. That's how much, that's your bank account that you inherited when you came into this world. And so we want to conserve it. And we also want to increase it. And that's why we do our Taoist inner alchemy practices. And then we have our Qi, the energy, breath, attitude, day to day. That is the flame. It's what we're doing. It's like we're burning up our candle every day. Every day as we go out there, we're burning a little more of our candle. So we also want to be doing our Qigong, building up our candle so that we're not, and I'll tell you, when I first started doing Qigong, my candle wasn't very strong. And so, I just couldn't do a lot day to day. But, I do a ton now, and I'm 72 years old. So, or am I, or 73? I can't even remember. Shoot. 1952. Yeah, I'm turning 73. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're 72.
You lose track when you're older. It's oh gosh, I'm just in my 70s now. Whatever year that is, doesn't seem to be that important. Anyway, yeah. So Qi is that the activity, and then the Shen, the spirit, awareness, mental health, your shininess. The heart houses your Shen, and that's the light that you put out in the world. That's your brightness. And so I kind of like this, looking at the three treasures that way: your Jing, your Qi, and your Shen. Three bodies and three worlds. So the three realms of external existence. So every human soul is composed of and enveloped by these three bodies. First of all, three bodies, three births. First is the physical and lower dantian, Yuan Jing, your original Jing, your original, the bank account that you got, original essence. And then Jing Qi becomes original Qi, which is vaporous, moves throughout the body and sustains life, and which you're using up. Sometimes we also talk about the original Jing, the Yuan Jing, as being the match or the lighter that you strike that lights the candle to burn up what is our postnatal Qi. And so we need that original energy, because it's the spark that allows the postnatal Qi to be used, to the energy that you're getting from the food and drink and the breath that you take. So the Qi becomes original Qi and moves through the body. The physical body and physical world has form and substance, corresponds to Jing, the lower dantian, earth, and Yin Qi. Yes, the physical body, physical world. And some people never get past that. Like, some science doesn't seem to get past this, looking at the world this way. And a lot of people don't get past looking at the world this way. It only exists as what is physical, and you can touch it. Physical body and physical world obeys the law of the three dimension, is an expression of personal thoughts and beliefs, and is at the level of five senses. Or this is where we can express personal thoughts and beliefs. So this is where we get the opportunity to express, is in the physical world. So that is where we get to have this expression. Physical body and physical world. Jing is energetic substance which makes up a person's constitutional strength and overall vitality. It is the root of life, primordial yin and yang, stored in the kidneys, and in the kidneys, water energy. So our kidneys are our water element. And the water element is so powerful and such an incredible part of life. It sustains like the whole skeletal system and your brain, the reproductive organs, all very, very much the kidneys and the water. So our primordial yin and yang, our left kidney is our yin kidney, our right kidney is our yang kidney. And the Jing is injured by the seven passions. And so this is when you burn your candle up a lot. So intense anger, just takes you feel like exhausted afterwards. Hatred, whoa. Excitement, well, yes. So then we get to the other ones that are not as, so you can see anger and hate, but what about excitement? Yeah, if you get really excited for over a period of time, you get exhausted afterwards. When you're trying to put on, let's say there's like a wedding or something, and it's like, oh, you got to sustain all this excitement. It's like, you just want to collapse afterwards. So excitement isn't a sustainable energy. You can't live in excitement. It will wear you out. It's nice to have some excitement. We need it. That's part of passion. But it's over excitement. Too much excitement. We like some. It's good to have some anger. It's good to, well, not about hate. It's good to have some anger. Attachment. And attachment, just over attached to things, that just is a problem. Then you have loss. Loss is the result of over attachment. Grief. Grief is natural, but prolonged grief, chronic grief, wears you out. Same with chronic fear, PTSD. It's very hard on the body. And jealousy and desire You know, you can know people who are still jealous of someone and it's like years later, like, oh, come on. Or still are like really focused on being with a certain person and it's like, oh man, that's been a long time. So most of this chronic is where it's really bad, like intense anger and hate. Yeah, that's not chronic. But the other ones are when it's more chronic. Because we do need to feel all of the feelings. So our second energy body in Middle Dan Qian, center of Yuan Qi. So links the original Jing and Shen. So it's our Yuan Qi, and so it's very original and original Jing and the Shen. So as we talked about, it is the communicator between the Jing and the Shen. So we need to have this original Qi there. To, even for the creation of the body needs original Qi to move through and communicate. And we have pre and postnatal Qi that work together. So when we are doing our Qigong exercises, we're working with environmental Qi, we're bringing it in, and it's all working beautifully together. That's why it's so important. It sustains the life of the body. Energetic body and energetic world is fourth dimensional. It has form, but no substance. So that Qi moves around the body, but you can't see it. You can't put it in a jar. You can't measure it. It's just like the emotions. You can't put that feeling of frustration in a jar and say, whoa, I had 2 quarts of frustration today. Wow, maybe I should knock that down to 1 quart. No, you can't measure it. And it doesn't have form. You can't, you can try and create a form for it. You try and put it in a jar. Maybe you could visualize that. But it is substance that has no form. That's the movement of Qi. The energetic body and energetic world corresponds to Qi. So the middle Dantian, the energy of man, and is a combined yin and yang Qi. So that is important to us. Okay, so John, I think we're going to need to move into some breathing exercises here. Oh, just finished one more slide. Individual will express his thoughts, feelings, passions, and desires. And so this is part of our energetic body. And so it's very important that we have that. We have the Qi there to move, to express. Yeah, it's our aliveness, feelings, passions, desires. And it's also an aspect of empathic communication. So a strong and a powerful energy body. And so when you looked at the bodies, so this is the one that's the middle body that's out maybe about 10, 12 inches off the physical body. And that is the one that's feeling, it's out there and it's feeling the space around you. And the physical and energetic worlds mirror the spiritual worlds and transcends space, and the body can be anywhere or everywhere. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this slide after break, because we're going to move over now and we'll be working with the breath.
Let's go back into our breath. Yes, we're going to be doing this from a standing posture again. So I'm going to invite you. Let's get up and find our Wuji posture again so we can do some nice deep breathing. Yeah, let us also soak in all that beautiful energy as we start to work with our different bodies. Okay. Great. Here we go. Let's feel those feet once again. Let's feel that connection on the earth. Connection with the floor, shoulder width apart. Get a sense of that connection flowing up through the earth, through like roots down into the earth, Coming up through the feet and into the knees, and let your knees be flexible and slightly out like we're riding our ponies again. Flowing up to the pelvis, getting that weight dropping down from your grounding cord. Get a firmness in the perineum, close the anal sphincter. Take some nice deep breaths. Just get a sense. Here's a good way to practice that. I invite you to really kind of close it off, really squeeze that. Squeeze the anal sphincter and see if you can take a big breath. Makes it much harder if you're just kind of close that off. I'm going to make sure it doesn't leak. And try to take a big breath and realize that's really not what we want, because then it's a lot. You feel a lot of muscles being activated here, and it's very stressful to breathe that way. So find that place where it's that happy place where you've got this sense of it without it being completely closed off in a way that doesn't allow you to breathe fully. Good, and let the abdomen soften, let the chest soften, let the shoulders relax, let those elbows be heavy, open the hands, little space in the armpits. Slight tuck of the chins to elongate the back of the neck, soften the eyes, close the mouth, place the tongue on the upper palate. Breathing with the nose as the ears close and your awareness goes more inward. Good. And then bring one hand to the navel and one hand to the chest. Let's check our wave breathing again. Can we start the breath down here in the lower hand at the abdomen? Get a sense of it waving up, filling all the way up to the top of the lungs. Filling up a vase or filling up a glass of water. And then exhale and let it just flow back down until the abdomen can relax. Just smile and just get a sense of how this might start slowly. If it's been troublesome for you, start to get a little easier. For some of you, it may be very easy. Maybe you do this all the time. Just allow yourself, regardless of where you are in that level of practice, I'm just going to invite you to allow yourself to just feel this. Come into relationship with this breath. This is what allows you to be alive. We really kind of take it for granted because we are so used to it just happens without us thinking about it, which is very good because it'd be hard to sleep if we didn't have this automatic breath coming in. But it's really nice because we can control that. We can decide, oh, I want to take a deeper breath here. It's one of the few things it goes automatically, but we can also control. And it's a great way to shift your outlook, shift your emotions, shift your thoughts. So just getting a sense of honoring that, this idea that we are alive because of it, but we also get to add more. Add more joy by breathing a little deeper. Add more wisdom by breathing deeper. Add more trust. Add more compassion. Add more love and joy and courage. Be more courageous when you're breathing deep and you're able to just be in the world without everything overwhelming you and turning it into a 5-alarm fire. I'm not saying there are not times when that happens, but not everything needs to be full alert. There are many times when we can just breathe through it, allow it to flow. Good. One more deep breath. Lovely. All right, let's do a little bit more of our diaphragm work. So bring your hands down to your waist. Let's take a breath into the lungs. Now we'll do some chest breathing. Really fill those lungs. Bear down and begin to rotate as you bear down, loosening up the areas of tension in the diaphragm. And exhale as you need to. Good. Another breath into the chest. Getting nice and full, and then push down on that diaphragm and rotate. Kind of moving your shoulders as the hips stay stationary, and exhale. It's also moving the rib cage. Good. And once again, breathing in, fill the lungs. Bear down, and where are you holding the most tension? Maybe you want to go back and forth. Listen to your body. Maybe you want to just kind of play with what's going on back here. Do the back. Going back and forth. A bottle brush kind of loosening up like a rolling pin, loosening it up here. And exhale. And again, breathing in. And find some other areas maybe you want to play with, and just kind of see how is it if I press down here on my right side. And exhale. Good. We'll just do that one more time. Finding the area that you want to work with. Breathing in. Bear down and rotate. Circle around, play around. And bearing down on those areas. Good. And then exhale. Bring your hands back to the navel. And breathe and see how's the front of the diaphragm now. How is the lower abdomen? Are you able to get some movement here? Are you able to invite the chi more fully into the body? Smile. Remembering smiling helps this uplifting Qigong, brings a more higher vibrational Qigong, or vibrational Qi, not Qigong, Qi. The Qigong, you are doing Qigong because you're mastering your life force by doing this. By really bringing focus. We're going to do some more of that wonderful, relaxing, lying breathing again tomorrow. It's good to work in different postures. You can also practice this seated. It's another way to kind of play with this breath and see how you are at different postures. Maybe some postures you don't, if you're kind of sitting with a slouch, it's going to be hard to take a deep breath. Same with standing. Lying down, that's why lying down is quite nice, because it keeps you in a nice straight position. Kind of like a lying version of the Wuji posture. Good. And let's do the side. Bring your hands to the side. And breathe here. Engage the hands to help. Let's see if it's a little bit easier to breathe out to the side, opening up the side body a little more. Good. Another way to honor that energy that's flowing in. The good thing about doing this practice is then when you're unconsciously breathing, it might make that a little bit easier because the energy, the diaphragm can move a little easier. The breath can come in a little deeper. And if you ever notice that it's off, you just take a moment, like Wendy was mentioning, and just say, oh, it's time to take some deep breaths. Let's begin to support this. I'm feeling a little out of whack here. I need a little bit of support. Time to bring in some more fuel. Beautiful. Couple more on the side. And then bring your hands to your lower back. You can place, once again, you can place your palms there. You can do the backs of the hands or just kind of pull your thumbs back a little further. I like to use my palms. And let's take a breath in. And once again, let's drop that tailbone a little more. And let it roll back into place on the exhale. Inhale, let it drop. Exhale, let it roll back. Little pelvic roll as we say hello to the kidneys. Opening up the back part of the diaphragm again. And letting ourselves really nurture those kidneys, as we were just talking about in the lecture there, how important the kidneys are. Kind of the containers that hold the qi, hold your Jing, your essence. That's why you get half from mom, half from dad. We want to give a little extra support so we don't use as much, so we can lengthen it out. Living more like a car that doesn't use a lot of fuel as opposed to a big old truck that maybe uses a lot of our Jing. Helping the brain, helping the bones, helping the reproductive organs, helping your overall flow, allowing yourself to go with the flow. Because you're using your kidney qi throughout the day. Wendy was mentioning that. It affects everything. It's the energy within the body. That's why we always want to keep the kidneys full and supported. Otherwise, we can get very drained if we just use, and never refill. And this is such a gift to the kidneys. So dropping down as you inhale, let it roll back the pelvis. Little tailbone drop there. It's a great one to practice. If you're having trouble with that, you can always lean against a wall, which is like the lying version. You can feel yourself breathing right into the wall. And one more breath. Good. And then bring your hands down by your sides and just see if you can feel as you breathe all this area. It's known as the chi belt. See if you can breathe and bring your awareness and feel it going here, here, and here. Almost like you're filling up a tube here, an inner tube. And then it relaxes. Expanding in all directions and then relaxing. So it's not just the front. You can always make it more visceral again and kind of see if when you're breathing here, do you feel it here? When you're breathing here, do you feel it back here? So expanding the breath, really opening up and supporting this area around the waist. You can think of it as your chi belt. If you put a belt on pants, this is your energy belt here. Help to harmonize and support all the energy that flows up and down through the body. It's horizontal, so everything passes through it. It's bringing more support. That chi can go into all the other areas of the body. Good. Great. Let's bring our hands in front. Palms up, and we'll do that Buddha's holding up the earth exercise I showed you the other day because that mimics our wave breathing. So let's breathe from the bottom up. Inhale. Hands continue up above the head, though the breath fills up to the top of the lungs. And then exhale, we start to empty out the top of the lungs all the way down to the navel so it can relax. Inhale. Kind of mimicking that with this movement. And then exhale. Inhale. Flowing up, and bring your awareness, even though the hands are moving, let your awareness really be in the breath. Breathing up from the navel all the way up to the top of the collarbone. Exhale from the collarbone back down to relax the navel and the abdomen. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And just pause there for a second and feel that breath. Feel the wave again without having to put your hands there. Let it be more of a sensation. What are you noticing? Maybe you're noticing the emotions coming up. Maybe you're noticing, maybe you start to get colors when you breathe deep. What are you noticing? And smile. And let's expand the breath a little bit. Not the physical breath. The physical breath will still go up and down here, but let's add some energy. And we're going to use our Buddha's holding up the earth again for this. Let's imagine we're pulling energy up through the bottom of the feet from the earth. Let's add a little bit more yin to the breath. Let it flow all the way above the head. And then exhale, let's bring some yang energy down. So we're adding the connections of earth and sky as well. So we inhale up from the earth, more yin in nature. Exhale, more yang energy coming down. Though our breath is still within the body, our awareness is going a little bit bigger. We're inhaling, going up from earth to sky through the body, and then down from sky to earth. Inhale up. Yin, moving through the body, connecting with yang. Exhale, yang coming through the body, connecting with the yin. So the breath becomes even more powerful as we connect with these sources above and below. Bring this stronger connection with the earth, with the divine. Inhale up. Exhale down. Even though the physical breath is happening in the body, the energy is happening a little bit bigger. Good. Let's do that one more time. Let's bring more earth energy up through the body. As you inhale, get that wave going up to the top of the collarbone. And then exhale, bringing yang energy from the divine down through the body. Good. All right. And just for a moment, let's just let them both come into the lower Danchen. A sense of charging up your lower Danchen. Still working with just now the wave breath in the body. Now that expands the chi a little bit more as well. Good. And then bring your hands down. And we're going to do our three sources breathing again. We're going to work with our colors or the intention of colors. So I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to your feet, the bubbling spring point at the bottom of the foot. And we're going to breathe in and imagine blue light coming up from the earth. Coming all the way up to your heart, and then exhale as we bring it into the lower Danchen at the waist. And inhale, and imagine golden light from nature all around coming into your third eye between your eyebrows. Continue to inhale and imagine blue, red, white, and purple light coming down from the divine through the crown of the head. See them combining as we exhale and bring that through the heart into the Danchen. And again, inhale. Blue light coming up like water energy coming up from the earth to your heart. Exhale, bring it back down into the lower Danchen. Inhale, golden light into your third eye. Blue, red, white, purple light coming in from the divine. Down through your center, through your heart, into your lower Danchen. Good. Inhale, blue. Back to the Danchen as we exhale. Breathing only with the nose. Inhale, golden light. Third eye, blue, red, white, purple light through the crown. Exhale, bring it down to the heart and into the Danchen. Good, breathing in. Filling up and helping the middle Danchen, and then bringing it back down to the lower Danchen. Inhale, golden light. Third eye, blue, red, white, purple, crown of the head. Exhale. Good, and let's play with that for a while. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One more time on the colors. Inhale, blue. Through the bottom of the feet to the heart. Exhale, down. Inhale, golden light into your third eye. Blue, red, white, purple light into the crown. Exhale, down. And play with these flows. Start to be curious. How does this flow through your body? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And smile as we move through these energies. Working with our energies from the three sources. First, the earth. Then nature. Then the heavens. Good. 5 more. Just watch your experience. Good. Good. A couple more. Last one. Bring your hands to your navel. Pause and breathe nice and deep. Once again, get that wave breath. Continue to work with that wave breath. And then imagine the energy of the breath coalescing into a ball once again. Imagine it compressing down to a pearl, just like we did with our workout earlier. See a little pearl resonating. Chi pearl. And without the physical movement of Guangong, let's do it with our mind. Let's practice that. So drop it down to your pelvic floor. And on your inhale, get a sense of it rolling that pearl all the way up to the crown of your head. And then exhale, let it flow right down the center of the front. Working our microcosmic orbit as a breathing and awareness practice. Inhale up the back, exhale down the front. Do 3 more. Good. Let the pearl come back. Let your feet come closer together. Let's lock that in with our 9 rotations. And reverse it for 9 more. And then rub your hands. Bring it up by your eyes or by your glasses. Soak that energy in to the eyes, optic nerves, and down to the Dan Shen. Little wash of the face, up the center, down over the ears. Do a little tapping of the forehead, crown, side of the head, back of the head, back of the neck. Come down to the arm and tap down one arm. Yeah. Come across the other side. Breathing can be so lovely, can be very dreamy. Kind of giving yourself, coming more into the present here, and then little tap on each side. Digestive organs going up the right, down the left. Tap beneath the navel. Come around the waist, say hello to the kidneys. And let's tap down the legs. Around the feet and toes. Back up the inner legs. Tap your leg gates, quad points. Stimulate the sea of Qi once again. And one more moment just being in Wu Ji. Notice how more alive you might feel and more energy you might feel from just allowing yourself to the gift of deep breathing. I feel more buzzy. Good. Thank you, everyone. That was fun. Who would think breathing would be fun, but it's fun.
Thank you, John. Great. Yeah, thank you for pointing out that the astrology chart is on page 34.
Yep.
And we start doing treatments at the end of, our first one is at the end of next session. And it's just a small one, but then we will continue from there.
Yeah.
Adding more and more. And the full treatment is the end of part 2B.
To be, to be seen.
Yes, yet to be. Okay. So we'll be back at 20 after.
Yeah. Have a good break, everybody.
Yeah. Comments. Thank you, John. Questions or comments before we move along? Okay, well, once again, it's time to relax and oh, it needs back in. Yeah. Okay. Yes, here we go. Okay, so let's see. Oh, make me move to page. Whoops. There we go back now. Okay. Energetic body and energetic world. Sort of that now starts to communicate. Physical energetic worlds mirror the spiritual worlds. So in certain ways, so the physical and energetic worlds can be a reflection of, you know, how do we say that? It is the karmas of the spiritual world. It is the past hurts. So the things that have been collected and need to be have been gathered to be worked on in your life is the way it would mirror it. Transcend the spirit body, transcends space, and the body can be anywhere or everywhere. I guess that's actually the energetic body transcends space, but not especially time. So transcends space and the body can be anywhere or everywhere. And then we're going to come to the spirit body. So the Yuan Shen, original spirit, and two minds or spiritual natures. So we have what we call the Yuan Shen, which is the original mind, which is the pure mind, the pure consciousness, the highest aspect of who you are, that which sits in the heart, the Shen in the heart. And then we have our acquired mind, our Shen Zhi, or sometimes called Zhi Shen. And it can be more up in your head. And it has a loud voice. And these two become in conflict with each other. So as I said, like the Hun and the Po, we have the two voices. We have the voice that's moving us towards good and the voice that's, moving us towards being more self-centered. So the acquired mind is very much the mind of the ego, and the original mind is the true you that is beyond the ego. Original mind reveals itself as Ling Qi, and Ling Qi means spiritual Qi stored in the heart. And the virtues are inner peace, propriety, discriminating awareness, some of the virtues. The 5 virtues give peace and clarity to the heart mind and the yang aspect of the human soul. So our 5 virtues, John has been peppering them in there a little bit, but we could start with integrity and courage and wisdom and compassion, loving kindness, and harmony and understanding of divine order or living in divine order, and faith and trust. And these have to be always at the higher aspect. So you can say trust, well, you don't want to trust the wrong person. And that's true. That's because you have to have the discriminating awareness, so which is in here as a virtue. We need to have this and know what you can trust. And what can you trust? Well, you can trust the divine. Divine is always there with you. That is the ultimate trustable. So these are all divine virtues that we work with. With the original mind, the Yanshen, but the acquired mind, the Shenji, is into the emotions, the emotional traits, survival influences, and the ego. It can be all about me, ego expression. So it sort of wants for itself, wants to take care of itself or its family, and doesn't live in the bigger picture. It lives in the smaller picture of life. Emotions affect the heart mind and influenced by the Po. And so the Po live in the lungs, and they are very much about survival. And we think, the lungs are a good place because it keeps you breathing. A lot of good things that the Po do. But anyway, but they're also, they get out of control. And then we have the 5 thieves, which are fear and sadness and worry and anger and arrogance. And there's a lot more of those more negative emotions, but those are just a sprinkling. And these ones are called the 5 thieves because they thieve your life force. Your fear stops you from living. Sadness stops you from living. Sadness being sort of chronic. These are all chronic. Worry, definitely chronic. That's a worry. It's just worry is a worry. It's chronic. If it's only for a moment, it's not worry. Anger, arrogance, and arrogance is, that's another. And you have to support that arrogance. It takes a lot of energy. So all of these things are stealing your life force. And it's considered to be the yin aspect of the human soul, whereas the yuan shen is the yang aspect, the more heavenly aspect of the human soul. Spirit body and spirit world has no form or substance, but it can take form and substance. So just because it doesn't have it doesn't mean that you can't have a vision of a spirit or a great being. And it has a kind of a substance that you can feel in the same way that qi has substance. It's not, but it's not going to show up all fleshy and hard, but it could show up, as a person having a vision, and the vision could look very real life, but it would still be a spirit body. It is part of the 5th dimensional world and is the highest and most subtle of the vibrations. It corresponds to the Shen, the upper dantian, which is in the head. That's the head dantian, the energy of the heavens, and yang qi, or heavenly qi. Spirit body and spirit world. So the lower aspects of the spirit body can take shape. The higher yang spirit energy is shapeless, radiant, golden light. So I have like tonkas in my room, and they are more of, they belong to certain deities, but they are the spiritual, the divine geometries. So, and those things, like the flower of life, that is, it's a geometry. It has beingness. It radiates a certain qualities. Amazing qualities. So the golden light that we worked with the first day when we went through the meditation through the body, and we will be continuing to works with golden light. And so the spirit world can show up as golden light, and that's why there's golden halos around the heads of saints and other high beings, golden halos, golden crowns. The gold color is significant of that divine power of the divine energy. So time and space are transcended at this level, and that's why we can do the work we do in both energetic and spiritual dimensions. Everything manifests simply by focusing one's attention. And so if I'm doing a reading, or if John's reading a kind of an energy, the person doesn't have to be there. We just tune into the name, or sometimes it's just like my mother. It doesn't take much. We just have to get the basic address, and you can find the energy. It's really more just to do with your intention. The intention is to connect with this person that we need to connect with. Or whatever it is we need to connect with. It happens instantly. And so there's never any lag time involved in this. Okay. Okay, so that's not where we're going. So questions here. That was a big topic. That's okay. We have another topic that comes after this one. It's not the one that we looked at right there, but it's a very important one. Okay. And if we're going along and it's like, what? Please put it in the chat. It takes us, you know, something that kind of got maybe roughed over a little too quickly, and you'd like to go back and talk more or learn more about that. That is how we do it. Otherwise, I assume it's all just absorbing. Okay. And it could be that, you know, it's hard. The mind isn't like working so hard, isn't working overtime in when it's getting late at night. It's 8:30 in the UK. So I think it's 8:30. No, it's 7:30.
7:30, but it's 8:30 in Israel and Africa.
That's true. 8:30. No, 8:30 in Africa and 9:30 in Israel. I know.
It's half hour.
What's that?
Oh, I didn't know they were 2 hours off. I thought they were only one. Same as
Israel is more.
Oh, okay.
Africa, same as Europe. So yes, it's more. Okay, so energetic embryology. So this is about the formation. Now we're going back to the body and to the embryo and to the creation of the human being. So we're going to take us back to this. So we've been all out there in the higher realms, and we're going to do a little bit more out there tomorrow and bring it all together between the higher realms and the lower realms. We're going to start today. We're going to finish more today with the energetic embryology. So the body's essence, energy, and spirit during conception. At conception, the heavens form the consciousness. The earth gives bones and shape and forms the body. So we have heaven and earth forming man. Together they cause human beings to develop. At death, consciousness returns to heaven. Bones and shape go back to the earth. And so that is a very sort of a direct take from some Taoist works about the formation of the human body. So the earth is where the body comes from, and the spirit is where the consciousness comes from the heavens, and they two come together and create the human being. Okay, so the first star period, the 10 lunar months in utero. And so they like to talk about this in terms of lunar months. So moon months. And this is our first star period. So we think in the West of 9 months, and they think of it being as 10 lunar months. So this is called the first star period, and it's equal to, in impact on who you are as a human being, it equals childhood, and it also equals adulthood. So what happens to the spirit in utero is hugely significant to who they will be in the world. And it's not something that in the West is really considered, but in China, there's a great emphasis on it. And the whole idea of keeping a woman very safe and nourished when she's pregnant, and being surrounded by positive energies. And so in utero, if, say, there's a death in the family, or say there's a lot of turbulence and fighting between the mother and the father, all of these things, everything that's going on, and all the mother's feelings will have a huge impact on who the child becomes. And it starts at the beginning, and it's a very interesting picture, watching the as the fetus develops, the energetic rivers and pools regulate the formation and production of his or her growth. So there are these different kinds of tissues which differentiate, which expand and differentiate into the different organs, organ systems, limbs, etc. But they're all connected in the beginning, and this is why a lot of things are more connected and part of the same systems later on. Okay, so the study is how we develop energetically. And it's also the origin of some diseases this time in utero. So the original mind and the prenatal Wu Jing Shen. So that Wu is actually, now we have another, Wu means something else here, it means 5. So it's 5, Jing is essence, and Shen is spirit. So we've talked about Jing and Shen. So Wu, Jing, Shen, these are our 5 essence spirits. In the fetus, the Wu, Jing, Shen, the 5 essence spirits, settle into the 5 yin organs. And so these are not your consciousness. They are consciousnesses of the body. And so they allow you to live your life, to do things, to run around, to drive cars, to talk to people, to walk across the room, to eat food, without having to think about my heart beating and what does my spleen need? You know, what does my pancreas need? What is my liver doing now? They are the consciousnesses that operate within the body that are giving you the opportunity to have this human experience. So these are very important. Sometimes we call them, they're very wise, and we work with them, and we even have treatments where we connect to them and to what we call the 5 sages of the body, because they're great wisdoms. You can imagine the patience that it takes to keep beating as the heart, to keep breathing. I mean, they are all on duty nonstop. So we have a great deal of gratitude for our Wu Jing Shen. So absorbing the energies, they settle into the orbit, absorbing the energies of the 5 elements. So the Wu Jing Shen goes in first and then starts to bring in the elemental energy of wood, fire, earth, metal, or water, depending on which one it is. And it is through this process that the organs are able to grow, and the partner organs, the yin organs, the yang organs, that they are all able to grow and develop. These spirits hold the energy of the 5 virtues, which continually nourish and support each other. So that'd be compassion, inner peace, truth, integrity, wisdom, and all of the other aspects. I was doing a meditation recently, and no, I was actually doing a channeling class recently, and someone who'd been channeling for really a long time, and she hit into some energy, and she just like, whoa, what is this energy? It's like love, but it's something else that comes out for other people. It's like looking at the world, and it was just knocked her socks off. It was so strong, and that was compassion. So these can be very big energies. We think of that as like, oh, I'm feeling compassion for it, but no, these are big They're very big. When you get into them and you experience them more, they get bigger and bigger. So conception occurring with the mother's orgasm, the child's constitution is strong. So that is a Chinese saying. So, you know, that was nice for women. It's different from puritanical aspects in the West, but they have a completely different, take on sexuality. Again, it didn't have the dark spirits attached to it. So a lot of sexuality in the West has come with this whole overlay of darkness, that it's bad, it's wrong, it's evil, and which is very unhealthy, and which causes a lot of illnesses of the reproductive organs. And in China, this darkness wasn't attached. So yes, lovely. That would just be, oh, that's nice. So that's interesting. But I have also worked with, there's so many children being born who come from IBF. So, and so I don't see them as being weaker. I don't see there being any problem with them. It just seems like maybe the spirit, it's like, okay, it's like, let's try something else. We've been doing it this way for thousands of years. So, or thousands of births. I'm going to try, like, what? I can do this? Okay, I'll check it out. Spirit is really curious. That's one of the spirit is light, it's joyful, it's curious. And so I'm sure there's curiosity about what it's like to be, conceived in a test tube. That's just interesting. And yes, they said if not, it would have a normal 2-week constitution. So, I mean, this could be the case, but I don't know. Anyway, this is very ancient Chinese diagram of the 10 lunar months of pregnancy. They were definitely, very well aware of this. And I'm sure there were enough for a doctor, there would have been enough miscarriages for all these stages for them to be able to look at and to examine these pregnancies, layers or times of pregnancy. So conception. And so with conception, we have the formation when the young sperm comes into the egg. That's the crown of the head. And that would be the Taiji pole of the body, which is also called the Chong, or the central channel, or the thrusting vessel. So all those names, Taiji pole right there on that first image, comes in. And that is our first, what we call the extraordinary vessels. There's 8 extraordinary vessels, and that would be the first one to form. And it's where the body forms. That's why the Taiji pole, and it starts at the crown and it ends at the perineum, very center core of the body. And it divides and creates, then the second picture, the positive charge at the crown, the negative charge at the perineum. And then the next thing that happens is that divides into the picture over on the right. We have the Taiji pole, and we have this division, and we have left yin and yang heel vessels that are happening, and with that division. And then we have what is the governing vessel at the back, and the conception vessel at the front. And with that, we then divide into 4. With the 4, we get the belt vessel, which creates the waistline. And so these are all of these extraordinary vessels that we have, and we will be using these, but just to know. And then we also have, yin and yang heal vessels, and the yin and yang, what are called linking vessels, also come along. So the heal vessels also called the Chow Mai, and the linking vessels, the Wei Mai. So all of these form. So this all is, it's why we use what are called the extraordinary vessels in this work, and something called master coupled points to work with them and to open them up. And we don't do that right away. We do that later on because there's already so much to learn. But just to know that this happens at conception. And after that, then we start to have what are come in later are the organ meridians. So they come in after this, which you're probably more familiar with. Oh, divine spark of conception. Yes, I'm going to show this. So it's a little more about how science backs this up. Oh, yeah, already got it showing us here. And should do all that. Just go with it. You don't even need the audio. So here we go. I think.
This is actual footage of the moment life begins.
Can you hear that,
It's
John?
called the zinc.
Yes.
A burst of light that happens the instant a sperm fuses with an egg. This flash is no coincidence. It's triggered by a sudden surge of calcium inside the egg, releasing millions of zinc ions into the surrounding space, creating this incredible light show. But it's more than just beautiful, it's essential. The brighter the spark, the healthier the egg, a signal of its ability to support life. It also plays a role in protecting the egg, helping to prevent multiple sperm from entering. This is literally the first step in the process that led to you. If life begins with a flash of energy, what does that say about you? Right now, every cell in your body is generating over 1 trillion electrical signals per second, all powered by the same force that lit up the very beginning of your life. It's in every thought, every heartbeat, and every breath that you take. You're more than flesh and blood. You're a walking, living field of energy. So the next time you wonder what you are, remember, your light, your energy, and it all started with a spark.
Yeah.
Joe Dispenza.
Very cool.
Yeah. Isn't that good? Yeah.
Did you want to take advantage of the chat now and just...
Yes, yes.
All right. So one of the Bria was wondering about reviewing the 5 yin organs, and I put it in the chat as well, that it's the liver, kidneys, liver, heart, and spleen, pancreas. So those are where the Wu, the 5 essences are.
Yeah,
Wu Jing
the
Shen.
Wu Jing Shen, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be going into detail with that in the
Oh,
next
yes.
seminar. And have
And
exercise and things to go along with them. Yes.
And
treatments.
Susan was making a comment that these are the organs that we tonify today and yesterday, and that's exactly right. So
yes,
that's why we do that. So Gavin was wondering, and I thought this would be a good question for the whole group, are the energies of the 5 virtues part of the Yuan Shen or from the Wu Ji separately?
Oh, yes. They are definitely from the Yuan Shen. So the Yuan Shen is the eternal soul. We'll be looking at the Yuan Shen more tomorrow, but you can think of the eternal soul. And I like this image. They say the feet of the eternal soul sit inside of your heart as the Yuan Shen. But it is the aspect of the eternal soul that embodies. And so the virtues are ever present in your eternal soul. Your eternal soul is purely virtue. And so that then that comes in. They don't come in separately from the Wu Ji. And at the same time, it's sort of part of they are the second heavenly transpersonal point also is the level of the pure virtues. And then we have the divine above that. And yet that's also your eternal soul. So even though it's gateway of the Tao, it's also you. It's also your eternal soul. So those are not separate, and yet they do come down, and so they color what is next, which is the higher self, and kind of have to get sorted through the higher self here. So it's not up here. They kind of have to get sorted, and then you have to like look up. You have to like, oh, I should do the virtuous thing here, or I have some options here. Why don't I do the good thing? You know, why don't I take the high road? I could take a bit of a low road, but you know, why don't I, you know, do the better choice, the higher choice. Oops. Light here. Sorry, I got the light show.
It's also the area where the 5 pure lights are too, so it's also bringing in the colors too at that same
Yes.
level of the virtues.
Then the colors line up with the virtues. Yes,
Yep.
the pure colors and virtues. Yeah. But interesting, good question. Yeah. Because Wuji isn't separate from the eternal soul. Certainly not as it comes into you. Your eternal soul is very much, and of course, all there's surrounding you, there's guides and all those other beings. But initially, your real connection is the eternal soul. Okay. Great questions. Like, oh, another question. Can you review the colors associated with all the yin and yang organs? Sure, I'll give that to John.
Yeah, so the colors, so the colors are the lungs are white, the kidneys are blue, and as Wendy was mentioning, there's one kidney that's more yang in nature and one that's more yin. You could do different shades of blue for that, more
Yeah.
darker on the left side, on the left kidney, and more lighter on the right kidney.
Yeah.
The liver color is green. You can think of it like almost like a pine forest green. That's a really good color for the freshness of springtime. And then the heart is going to be red. It can also be pink. And then the spleen is going to be yellow or a golden color. You can work with a golden yellow color. It's a nice color for the spleen. And the pancreas.
Yeah.
And then we have different shades when we start getting into the yang organs, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about. We're going to be talking a lot about colors there. So those are slightly different shades of the colors I've already mentioned so the partners, the partner of the lungs would be the large intestine, the kidneys would be the bladder, the liver would be the gallbladder, the heart would be the small intestine, and the pancreas and spleen would be the stomach. So they would have different shades. Like a good example is 24 karat gold for your spleen. That's a lovely color. And maybe make 16 karat gold for the stomach is a way to think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Do the colors coordinate similarly with the chakra points? So yeah, there's definitely some similarities here. And so lungs are white, they're heavenly, and so that we have like the crown chakra being very, very much white, and this is like the highest up in the body. The kidneys are blue, but they're very young. They're in the back of the body. They're the only one that's in the back of the body. And so the blue is also, so yang is like the upper part of the body. This is the more yang. You saw we had like the positive charge here, the negative charge down the lower dantian. And so the kidneys are also yang, even though they're the lowest of the yin organs in the body, but they're also on the back, which is the yang aspect of the body. So they're more like the blue color that you would have up in the throat. The heart chakra is a green chakra, And it's very much like the liver is right there, which is also the green color. So we have kind of thinking that green across for the heart chakra. The spleen, stomach totally lines up. Yellow, that one's easy. So do all the organs, see the spleen. Yeah, so that's all of our organs and the correlation. Now we have, the red chakra as the first chakra, and then we have the red color associated with the heart. And, that's is to do with the embodiment of spirit. Just like when the fetus comes in, it goes down head first into the uterus. And so there's always this sort of this balancing out. And so, spirit embodying matter. So spirit has to kind of dive in. So, so we kind of have to have that red chakra on the bottom. So hopefully that was some ideas around how they might relate. It's not easy, other than the spleen. The spleen's the easiest, and then kind of the lungs. I always think of the green with the liver, because the liver is an amazing organ with all that compassion too. So yeah, but the heart is, then that, but that's why, because the heart is about the spirit and trying to get the spirit to embody in the human being. So it needs to be right down there at the bottom. Okay. Okay, understanding fetal toxins. So, mother and unborn child need this harmonious and supportive environment. So that is the thing. And there's also, a lot of herbal mixtures that usually the woman would go and live in the husband's house. And so it would be the mother-in-law who would be taking care of the pregnant woman. And her job would be to really make sure that, and then all those special herbs that would go into the soups and to all of the meals that she would receive to really nourish her in that environment. Anything influencing the mother's mind, emotions, spirits affect her heart and travels to the uterus and can affect the fetus. And then we have hot evil from the parent's essence and blood, which is considered to be a fetal toxin. So this is when all of that ancestral stuff comes in, and it's called the hot evil from the parent's essence and blood. I kind of love the terminology. It's like, well, yeah, then we'll send in them, and let's see, we'll send in some rage from this person, and we'll send in like the cheapskate, or and then the cheater, all the negative stuff. It's called a fetal toxin. It's not fatal, it's just fetal. And then there's also what comes up for the mother during the pregnancy. So her like internal heat, internal stagnations, all of those things. Mother's toxicity during the pregnancy is also another one of the fetal toxins. And they show up as heat that surrounds the zygote, the embryo. So they really pay attention to these things, and they name it. It's like, what's being inherited? Impatience. Ooh. So it's not coming in like, oh, the child gets to have this very pure situation. It's considered that there are all these things that need to be mitigated by the best possible circumstances. Postnatal energy development. At birth, and so we go back to do some more of looking at the times, the months. And if you go into the reading, you'll get to read through, and I don't do it in this seminar, we got way too much to cover. And we go back there in the 7th seminar. Anyway, But there are all the months. And so at a certain 1 month, you'll have, this will be when the water energy comes in, the kidneys form. Another month is when the lung energies come in, and then the lungs form. So it's actually, and these are lunar months, and one can actually trace back. So if a child comes in, if it's weak, then there will be, this will happen to the child. And so it's possible to even trace that back and see, like, okay, well, something happened during this particular month. Like, oh, well, they were in a war, and there were like bombs dropped and it was really scary. So, things happen during these particular times, or someone dies, or things happen that will have a strong effect. So at birth, the original Jing, Qi, and Shen separate into 3 entities. And at birth, a person's original nature, or day, virtue, is stored in the 5 yin organs. And so you've been given this gift. Hopefully, if everything has gone well and the 5 yin organs have been able to grow on schedule and develop, and that the Wu Jing Shen are able to be happily in their residence within the organs, then the original nature, also called the day, the word day means virtue, is able to be there and to grow. A person's highest destiny is rooted in the kidneys, and the lower dantian, and it has to do with Ming Men, which is right at the back, opposite your navel, which is your destiny gate. So on the front, you have your navel. And so the navel, and you had the umbilicus that connects you to mother, and mother connected you to earth. So mother was your earth when you were in utero. So the mother's, that was your world, that was your earth. And your mother is on the earth, and she is eating from the earth, and she is breathing from the earth, and drinking from the earth, and exposed to all these aspects of the earth. So she is the earth. And this umbilicus at the front goes to her. And it's at the front of the body. It's the yin aspect of the body. So the whole front of the body is the earth directed and connected part of the body. It is the yin of the body. So that is our yin. And the back, which is the Ming Men, is the heavenly aspect of the body. It's the part, if you were an animal crawling around, it would be always the part that is looking at the sky. Even in the fish have their spine, and the upper part would be the yang aspect. The yang aspect is where you have all the defenses. If you're a dragon, you'd have your spikes here. But if you're a fish, you'd have your fins out here. And then or if you're a porcupine, you have your quills all up. That's all the yang part, where the porcupines are. And then we have our yin part, the soft part. So yang is protective, and the yin needs to be protected. It is the earth connection. And so the navel connects one to the earth. And the feminine is soft, it's receptive, and needs to be protected, because it's also the connection to the Wu Ji, to the deep, to the dark, to the unknown, to the intuitive. And so the outer is the masculine. The yang is very masculine. It is protecting the yin in every body. And so the Ming Men is the destiny gate, is our heavenly input. And so at the back of the body, there's heavenly input. And it's right there at the kidneys. And we have a yin and yang kidneys. And so these are the gifts that have come, that this original yan energy, the yan yin and the yan jing, the yin jing and the yang jing, right there in the kidneys. So, so that's there. We also have like adrenals there and a lot of other things going on right there. And yeah, and that's also where we receive destiny. So this is what the gift that we have come into this world to do, to be, to become, to embody. So that's that destiny gate. After birth, a child's energy moves through the water cycle until puberty. And so we're going to be doing what is called the microcosmic orbit, and we will be doing the fire cycle because that's what it's adulting. You familiar with that term? Adulting, it's doing the fire cycle. And then we have the water cycle, which is where the child's energy is at until puberty, and is also where the woman, they say after menopause at a certain point, you can become much more a water cycle being. It's still tricky, I think, in our modern world where we're pretty inundated with news and just general confusion and chaos in our world. So a little bit harder to relax into the water cycle, but it's more the intuitive cycle. So it's more for the crone. And men don't do that, but you can also do that. They don't normally do that, I guess you'd say. So pre and postnatal energetic patterns. The importance is placed on both the earth and the heavens. A human life is influenced by the geographic area where the person was conceived and where they were born. So if a person, if that's being looked at, like where did they come from, and what are these influences? So we know what our animal is, we know what our element is, and then there are these other aspects. So if a person is doing your Chinese astrological chart, of course, just like Western astrology, where you were conceived and where you were born. And actually, they put a lot of emphasis on conception. If you can happen to know when you were conceived, it's can be hard enough sometimes people to know when they were born, let alone conceived. As well as being influenced by the cosmos, the time when conceived and when born. And so I like to look at the influence of the cosmos on birth as really being that you are the cosmos when you're born. Or maybe it's conception. And maybe it's an overlay of both. That all of those stars, all of that universe is at that moment in time definitely is an imprint, and also, you become all of this. You become where the planets are. You become where the constellations are. You become where you are on the earth. So that's very interesting. So the ancient Taoist archetypes of the human soul. So the ancient Taoist archetypes of the human soul. The Shen, the Shen, our original spirit, our eternal soul. Let's see, is that the Shen? Yeah, the eternal soul provides us with three spiritual entities called the Lords of the Three Dantians. And these are celestial beings that oversee the various internal energies and powers of our three Dantians. So, at the head, there is the spirit called Tai Yi, or great unity. So we already know that Tai means great. So Yi, in this case, means unity. It resides in the head and the upper dantian in the form of light. So each of the dantians has quality. And we don't need to remember these names. It's just to know that that you are not, you are the consciousness that comes in, and there are all of these other amazing influences that are happening within you at the same time. The Sai Ming is the administrator of destiny and resides in the heart as vibration. And so, administrator of destiny. So the heart is the emperor or the empress, whichever we'd like to call it, that sits there. And if we consider the body and all of these spirits, you've got the Wu Jing Shen, you've got Tai Yi, Sai Ming, Shao Tai Kong, all and more. You've got, these spirits of the body, that the emperor is the instructor, is the conductor of the orchestra. And the orchestra is all of these entities and energies that are going on inside of you, and really everything that's going on inside of you. And so that is the job of the Shen, is your Shen, your spirit, is to be this conductor of the orchestra, the Yuan Shen. And to support that, you have Sai Ming, administrator of destiny. And so Sai Ming is supporting the Shen in the heart, the Yuan Shen in the heart. And we also have on the right Bai Yuan, which we need to have to help regulate the Po. So there's 7 Po, and they can get crazy and out of control. And then we have our Wu Ying, which regulates the 3 Hun. And when that happens, the Wu Ying can say, well, not the Wu Ying, but the Hun can say, I'm out of here. So the Wu Ying wants to oh, come on back, Hun. And then we can also have the Shen leave. And so the Shen's supposed to be in charge and running things, but then the spirit leaves the body. And yet, body still seems to operate. It's not great, but you still have all of these other spirits within the body. And if you've ever had a shock, you know what that feels like, to not be in your body. Like you're like all of a sudden dangerous, like, whoa, I can break my arm walking across the room here. So we like to, pay attention and bring the Shen back into the body. And so many people don't feel their bodies. They're kind of living, floating above their head somewhere, and not embodied. So a lot of the work that you do with people and that we are doing with you also is to make sure to get you more and more embodied, more in your body, experiencing your body from these places, from the Tai Yi, from the Sai Ming, and bringing the heart, bringing the Shen back into the heart. And for the Shen to come into the heart, we need the 3 Hun to be there. And we also need the Po to be calm, because the Po's not calm, the Shen's not coming in. And one of the ways that we calm the Po is through the breath practices, which you're doing with John. And so all the things that we're already doing are working with this. And so the more you breathe and the more deeply you breathe, the more calm you become. And actually the Po live in the lungs. They're the spirits of the lungs. And this calms them down, and they're able to be calm. And when they're nice and calm, you can actually have the Hun come back in. And then we have the Shao Tai Kong below Healthy Peach, which I think is so cute. I think of the little peachy butt at the back. Looks like a peach. Resides in the navel, and the lower dantian is heat. So we have heat in the lower dantian, is the quality, vibration at the heart, and light in the upper dantian. And the lower dantian is our kinetic communication. So those of us who are mainly kinetic communicators, yes, that is where we, and also vibration, because we're usually feeling the vibes a lot too, and empathic. And maybe up there too, we learn to be intuitive. So these are the spirits who are the administrators, the lords of the three dantians, Tai Yi, Sai Ming, and Xiao Kong. But you don't need to know. It's just a basic idea that you can have about how we are having a human body is more complex than it seems. and these people paid attention and really broke it down in ways that we don't get in any kind of Western medicine. Okay, so questions about this? This is kind of, again, a wild approach to things. It's a very much getting into the spirits of the body. And, it gets touched on in other places and even, to certain degrees. But in our work, we are really trying to go back to more the original aspects of Chinese medicine before it got cleaned out. So any questions there? Okay, questions, yes. What are the Po and Hun again? Okay, we're going to be really going into Po and Hun next seminar.
Yeah, very in-depth.
So the Po are the spirits. There's 7 spirits of the Po that live in the lungs. So they are the spirits of the lungs. And then we have the Hun, which live in the liver. There's 3 Hun, and they live in the liver. And they are our ethereal souls. So they are more to do with the spirit. The lungs are our corporeal souls, and they have to do with the body, and they have to do with your survival. So they are very much keeping you breathing. They are protecting you. I mean, lungs, you got to breathe. Everything else is, well, we need the Shen. The Shen is, the heart. We need to have the heart beating, yes. But then we really need to have the lungs. We need to be breathing. And so it's very important that even though they are associated really with the lowest part of the body, like the anus is like the Po man of the body, but we always balance things out in the body there. The lungs are heavenly, but they also need the very much the energy, the spirit in there that's really fighting for survival. So that'll keep you healthy. And the whole idea is that we can have this human body as a vehicle for our spirit and that it will survive as long as possible. So we can, so we need all these, we have a team. Yay, team.
These are our team, yes. And Gavin was wondering, are these spirits of the body more related to aspects, qualities of the soul rather than separate entities?
No, they're considered to be separate entities. So they're not aspects of your soul. And so it's very, we look at them. And so if someone goes, like I had a woman once who fell down in front of a bus, and she immediately found herself on the curb, looking back at her body. And her body got itself up and ran back to where she was. Like, it was still breathing, it was still operating independently of her consciousness. And so our consciousness is independent, and yet we need all this and we work with them, and they are very affected by our Yan Shen and our Zhu Shen, our personalities. Our personalities have a huge impact on the whole operation of this and whether and how happy the spirits of the organs are. So it's not like they are aspects of the soul. They are considered to be, and we can experience them. So that's like, don't believe that until you have the experience of it.
Right.
So we need to experience these things before it becomes real for you. And so at this point, it would just be like something to consider. Because it seems easier if they are aspects rather than separate entities. Easier to accept. Okay. So you can just have an open mind about that and see how that hits for you. So they're separate, they're from the divine. So they come in under the auspices of your eternal soul. So that's all in the part of the embryology, is that they are all spiritual beings. They're heavenly beings. Wu, Jing, Shen. They are 5 essence spirits. So they are spiritual beings that are coming in under the auspices of your own eternal soul, which is kind of arranging for this body for you. It's like, it's sort of like it's all set up and then we can drive this vehicle. It's gassed up, everything.
Yeah.
We don't actually have to like be a piston, there's a piston that's working there. Like all these things are operating. So there's something else that is in charge of that. Just like there was a genius that built all that stuff that we don't have to be to drive a car. The 10 lunar month assembly line. Yeah, exactly. They come in at that time. Each one comes in, and yeah, it's all pretty amazing. Naomi.
Hiya. There's lots of information here, and I'm just wondering how best to interact with it. Like, do we need to try and learn all of this stuff?
No, this is a drive-by.
Okay.
It's just to kind of,
This
we
whole
want you to get a
seminar's drive
sense
by.
of it. We just want you to get a sense of this, that there's all these other things going on.
Okay.
Because we're going to wade a lot more deeply into all these things. Like we're going to be we're spending time with the Hun and Po. We're going to be spending time with each of the organs and the the spirits of the organs and all these things.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't have to remember all this stuff. Separate entities with personalities. The Po.
Oh, the Po.
Po have their personalities, but for the most
We're
part,
going to talk about them and how all the different versions of them.
yeah, there comes a whole psychology part with that. It's really interesting. The 7 Po actually line up with, the 7
deadly sins or whatever.
7 deadly sins. Yes, they line up with the 7. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Some things are not separate because they're real. So anyway, yes. And then other ones are just there to really, help calm things down.
Yeah.
And then we need to, you need to work with them all. Yes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But great question. So I'm glad you're excited about it because you will get a lot of that coming forward. We're going to talk a lot about them. So
yes. Okay. So I used to do a thing at this point to experience the body and the energies of the body. Maybe it's in another seminar. But anyway, just to know that your physical body operates and has its own thing. Your energy body is actually separate from I know it's in seminar 3, I think, from your physical body. And your spirit body is separate from that. But we used to do this thing so you could feel them separate, but then it could be hard to put them back together. So I stopped doing that, but they are quite distinguishable. Oh, we have some more great questions here.
yeah, there's one more question. I moved my volume up. Somehow it got moved down. I didn't do it. Something happened on my computer and moved my volume down. So
No,
what does
I have things.
ancestral inheritance differ from
Yes.
what the spirits bring?
Oh, yes. So yes, I mean but that has a big influence. The ancestral, what we call the hot evils, they just have an impact. They surround the embryo with this kind of a toxic heat, which now all of the Wu Jing Shen are going to have to deal with. So that's happening at a certain level. But that's there too. That is that inheritance that comes in and influences, pretty much the Po. Yeah, other than for illness, but they will, they're going to affect the different abilities of the organs. Okay. Okay, so any other questions? We'll have a nice little meditation here. Okay. Oh, getting things organized here. Sound. There we go. Oh, all these steps. Don't forget. Yep. Here we go. Now I'm ready. Okay, guides are ready. Yes. Where will they take us today? Yes, it is quite wonderful. This human being. We see you as such lights in the world. We are very grateful for the interactions that we have with you, and to be able to work with you in these meditations. And we hope to give you more of a glimpse of these realms, or indeed these spirits are happening at different realms, different levels of the body. And you see your spiritual realm has the greatest influence upon your body, even though one who is living in the physical world could see it as being quite the opposite. The greatest influence is coming from matter, and yet we would beg to differ. Or indeed, the overall experience is coming from spirit and is really chosen by spirit and administered by spirit. So, very good. We would have you find that upright posture and that breath. And remember, with each breath you take, that as you breathe in, that you are bringing in spirit. And as you exhale, that you are releasing spirit. And just pay attention to that for a moment with a deep breath. Feel yourself coming in, becoming more embodied, and as you exhale, feel yourself becoming less embodied, more dispersed. And inhaling again, feeling yourself coming in, and pause and consider that this inhale is going into every cell of your body. And then exhale. Know that what is not needed is being released from each cell of your body through this exhale. That you are spirit coming in, that you are spirit in a way dispersing, that you are coming in, that you are coming into life. As you exhale, you are leaving. And then you turn around and come back, except that one day there will be one last exhale, just as in the beginning there was one inhale. And feel as you breathe in your physical body. Pay attention to this physical body, this sensation of being here, of sitting. You are sitting, that there is weight, that there is gravity that is affecting your physical body, and that you can feel that your awareness, your consciousness is in each cell of this body. That there are areas where you are more conscious and areas where you are less conscious. And so taking a breath in, following that breath down into your lungs, and following that breath back out again, and seeing how much you can descend into your lungs, how much of your consciousness actually goes into the lungs as you breathe in. How much are you there? How much are you in your head? And how much are you in your lungs? What is the ratio? How can you stay in your lungs and become more in your body, in your physical aspect of your body? How much can you drop your awareness now down deeper and feel the movement from the breath, from your breathing into deeper parts of your body? How much can you be in your pelvis? Much of your consciousness is able to be here. Then how much are you able to descend down through your legs, or one leg or the other leg down? How much inside of the body can you be? Not looking at the body from out of the body, but how much in your body can you be? Becoming very, very in the physical experience. Notice this movement in the body of the physical experience. Good. And we would suggest to you that when one is involved in sexual acts, that this brings the consciousness down into the body, and therefore can be a very good thing, can be a very healthy and healing thing to bring this much consciousness into the lower dantian and into the genitals, which are at the very base of the body. So being embodied is very important. So coming back now up to your lungs, being aware of the chi now, of your breath, the movement of energy in your body as you breathe. And all of the energy of the body. Being aware of any thoughts, any feelings that you might have. Your emotional state. Pay attention to that for a moment. What is my emotional state? What kind of thoughts am I having? How am I feeling right now? Thoughts and the feelings, emotions, are a larger body. It's like a bubble around you. That they are not somehow compressed inside of the physical body, that they somehow move out in a different way, on a different plane of existence, for indeed they are all through the body. They are not hindered by the physical body in any way. Thoughts and feelings don't run into a wall with your physicality. So they are not of the third dimensional realm. They are of the fourth dimensional realm, which is not impeded by space. So they can move through. Feeling of sadness can move through and into your physical heart and lungs, for example. Worry can move into your stomach. They are not physical, and yet they have a great existence, have a realm of their own, which we are calling the energetic realm. Good. And then you can also look at all of this and notice how we are observing it all. So it's going on, we are observing emotions, we are observing how our mind can actually move around the body and go into different places. We can shift awareness. And that ability to shift your awareness, to be in different locations, to have a sense of your knee as if you were looking at your knee, or looking at your elbow, or looking at maybe your sore neck, or whatever that is, or your Mingmen, or your feet. That you're able to have an awareness that sits, that is able to move around freely, and is able to go in and to observe these emotional energies. Pay attention to that, and that is your spirit and your spirit body. And you can notice how far out your spirit is able to go around you. And so if you calm your breath, you have a nice deep full breath, stop the doing, you'll notice expansion. It happens right away. The less thoughts, the more expanded. Good. And then imagine looking up and connecting to a beautiful golden light above you. A spiritual light, a divine light. And smiling as you make this connection. And notice your field shift and expand. This greater field, that something happens here. Paying attention to that. Inviting in this beautiful golden light now. And we're going to invite this golden light now to pour down over you, pouring down the front of the body to your feet, and notice yourself observing that or experiencing it in some way. It's perhaps as a tingling. And down the back of the head and neck and back of the body. Golden light. Which is simply a quality, an intention. Because the visual of the golden light is not what the golden light is. Golden light is an energy. It's an energetic experience. The name golden has been put on it to describe it. But just as the word gold describes it. And yet what it is something quite beyond this. Good. And then opening the crown, and welcoming this golden light. And let it pour down. Let it come into the brain and the senses. Let yourself enjoy the golden light coming in. Be in that experience of beautiful golden light. Good, and the golden light now coming down through the throat, the breast, down behind the breastbone, and coming into the heart. Good, and into the heart, into the spirit, the Yan Shen, the spirit, the original spirit in your heart. The golden light coming in. Say hello. To connect with this spirit. And as you breathe now, smile to the spirit of the heart, the Shen of the heart, the seed of consciousness. And seeing if you can connect with and have a sense of being in your heart. Being the Shen, being the embodiment within your heart. Good, and now with the Shen, coming to the lungs. Connecting the heart spirit with the red color, and as we come to the lungs, there's a beautiful glow of white light. And the Po, and as you breathe, you are calming the Po. As you bring this golden light, you are blessing the Po. You are blessing your lungs. Good, and now from the lungs coming into the liver on the right side. Breathing here at your liver and inviting golden light into the liver. The liver is is the home of the three hun. And as you breathe calmly, with the smile of your Shen, the spirit, the great wisdom keepers, the sages of these organs. There's so much to do, so much activity in the heart and in the lungs, and yet the liver is very different. It takes a great wisdom. The liver has many, many chemical activities in the body. Then coming across to the spleen, to the pancreas, and the spirit here, the Wu Jing Shen of this organ, and is called the Yi. Again, the Yi, this spirit, watches over and directs both the spleen and the pancreas, as well as the stomach. These spirits are quite busy, watching over all of what is the earth element here. Good, and then coming to the kidneys, water element at the back. And the spirit here, the Zhi, the kidneys. Just smiling to these spirits, to these Wu Jing Shen. We wanted you to say hello. Good, and then we're going to bring some golden light down into the lower dantian. the Lord of the lower Dantian, the Xiao Tao Kang, low healthy peach. As the spirit that is watching over all the digestive system, beautiful being, and then coming up to your middle dantian around your heart, Sai Ming, administrator of destiny. Feeling that area around the heart that fills the body, called your middle dantian. The lower dantian is heat, and this is vibration. Quality of vibration with the middle dantian. Then coming up to our upper dantian. To the great being here, Tai Yi. Just feel the presence, that peace that is here. Our lords of the three dantians. Bring your hands to your heart. And just feel the blessing that it is to have this amazing body. How precious your life is. All of the support that you have. Come to the earth plane. As you come into your birth, into growth and into the world, becoming who you are. The great harmony that you can have with all of the spirits of the body. And to work with the spirits of the body in alignment with the body, with all the body spirits. Good, and bringing your palms to the navel, letting the energy now sink back down to the navel. Good, and begin to breathe up the back, up the spine, down the front of the body. Nice breaths. Up with the head down, the perineum up again. Nice flow. And then coming back to the navel and gathering the energy back down here at your navel 9 times in each direction. And hands together. Do that chi, breathe that in at the eyes. Bring that into the eyes, wash the face. And coming up over and tapping. Head coming down, tapping down. The inner arm, vibrating. What likes that? Oh, it's the heart, vibration. That. And coming down the chest, down to the navel, and then circling the navel, coming up the right, down the left, circling the waist, back to tap your kidneys. Hello, kidneys. Down the outsides, and back to the legs, down to your feet, coming around the feet, and back up to the navels, the navel. And time to share your experience with a partner.
Gavin, we'll have to finish that conversation some other time. That was really interesting.
Yep, it was the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you say, okay, so standing up. Let's complete. Okay, so finding a nice place to stand. And we like to put it on to our view so we can see each other. And breathing in.
Yeah. Gallery mode, everybody, if you
Gallery
can.
mode, yes. And exhale, gather from nature, from the heavens, and come down through the physical body. Now you're feeling these different bodies, right? That physical body, you want to be embodied in that physical body. And again, in from the earth, the energy can rise up. Exhale, let it gather there. And then nature and the heavens. And this is for your energy body to help bring that wonderful fluidity. And it's that bigger body, right? It's more out around you like a bubble. And then again, earth, and nature, and the heavens. And this is for your spirit body. Bring that wonderful flow down, that well-being, that harmony, peace. And just take a moment breathing, feeling your gratitude for the world, for life, for being a part of this world, and bringing that into your heart, all of the gifts, being alive, and just the gift of breathing in and breathing out. So many gifts. And sending gratitude out to your classmates for journeying with you, bringing that back in to your heart, appreciating yourself for being on this journey, and shining your light, letting us make a ripple in the world. And thank you all for a beautiful day.
Wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.
You. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.